What is up, guys? It is your friendly neighborhood dingo, and today we have got to talk about the impacts of a lot of military-aged Muslim men who come into Western countries, especially countries like the United Kingdom, and what that does to the most vulnerable in society. So we are talking about women, children, the elderly. And you know, these men often come from the most misogynistic, and yes, I do mean the most misogynistic, the most patriarchal countries in the world. Their system, their world, their worldview, it is entirely different to what we see in the West. And I feel like for a lot of people who have never experienced that, who have never traveled to those countries and even spoken to women from those countries, they don't fully understand what that means and what kind of worldview these men bring, especially in larger numbers. Now, of course, we go into Manchester for today's video, where we see this mother. She has realized that these two neurosurgeons and astronauts, or whatever else they might be, they have been making some remarks, some sexual remarks, of course, and this doesn't surprise anybody, at her underage daughters. And, well, it seems they are truly living the life of Muhammad, who married Aisha when she was 6 years old and consummated the marriage at 9. So in their countries, wherever they come from, I mean, these men look like they are from Afghanistan. I don't even believe they have an age of consent over there. It's just nothing. Like, literal, like you're born and you can be promised off to some creepy old man. That is how their culture works. So let's have a look at what this woman had to say to these neurosurgeons.
Are you saying sexual things to young girls when they're walking past? Because I reported you.
No.
My daughter's walking down the street to go to pick her little brother up from school, and you're saying sexual things to girls. That's not okay, mate.
Me?
Yes, you. You didn't say anything. You said, oh, she's not interested, mate. But you said something.
No,
She's described you perfectly,
no,
mate.
You say something.
So don't be saying dirty shit to girls, especially young girls,
No, I know
16 and 18.
I know.
So don't be saying it then, because a woman wants to walk past and she wants to just get on with the day. She doesn't want a man saying that. And if you have a wife, how would you feel if your wife walked past two men on her own, very intimidating? So don't do that again then. Really think about what you say to women, because it's not okay, mate. No, we know what you said, mate. We know what you said. So just don't be saying anything more, especially to young girls, because it's not okay. Because a young girl hasn't got the confidence to turn around and say, fuck off, like a grown woman would.
I'll not say like that.
Do you get what I'm saying, though?
I know.
So my girls live here, and this has never happened before for over 15 years. So don't be saying anything more to young girls walking past, because we're quite a good community and we all talk to each other. So you don't want the police at your door, do you?
No, it's not.
And you certainly don't want her dad at the door, let me tell you.
Because when was arrested?
Today.
Today?
Yeah, today.
Today?
Yeah, today. So you just need to really be careful what you're saying to girls, especially girls that are on their own, because it's intimidating, mate. And as a woman, you just don't want that shit.
I don't know. Today I'm not only.
Yeah, today you were. You had your top off. You had your tattoos out. You're pretty easy to describe.
I don't know.
You're very easy to describe.
I'm not coming so long. I'm doing my job.
Well, you need to just do your job. If you see a pretty girl or you see a pretty woman, just keep your mouth shut. Just let her go on with her day.
Okay. Sorry for like that, yeah?
Yeah, thank you. Because you should.
This woman, she seems like a really nice person, because she almost empathetically tried to explain this to this neurosurgeon, that what he was doing was wrong. But here's the thing though, if a woman tells them this, they disregard that immediately, because they believe that women are beneath them. That is what they believe. This woman clearly does not understand where these men come from and the environment they grew under, because they are essentially trying to, they're passing these remarks when underage girls are walking past. So you can already imagine what kind of men they are. No amount of advice, no amount of teaching them better morals or values is going to change who they are, because they believe dearly within their hearts, and because of the teachings of their religion, that what they did was okay. you have infidel women walking around, that is completely fine to do whatever they want with that. If you had read those reports, by the way, that Rupert Lowe released, and even before those reports were released, all the news articles and all the investigative journalists who've done work on the grooming gang scandal, you would realize that these crimes had some sort of ethnic and religious tone to it. Like, a lot of them, they made it very clear that they were specifically targeting English white girls. And the way they were doing it to essentially assert their dominance. They would never do it to their own, the girls in their own communities. They would never do that to them because they are Muslims and they believe Muslims are above everybody else. They believe the infidel woman, similar to what Muslims have been doing for 1400 years, essentially, historically speaking, In the Quran, it says, what your right hand possesses. That is why they do what they do. This sort of advice, and I believe that guy was saying, oh, I have a wife. Yeah, that's exactly my point. He might have a wife, in the house. He might have daughters. He's never going to do any of that to them. Of course, he might do other things like, domestic violence and whatnot, because that is what the Quran teaches them to do. But this sort of remark, this sort of harassment, yeah, that is never targeted at Muslim women. That is always going to be targeted at kuffar, the non-Muslims. This has been consistent in Britain, especially when we look at the grooming gang scandal. That has been consistent and it will not change. The other thing also you have got to remember is the fact that these men, guys, it's not always one individual. It's always multiple individuals. Probably that entire household. If you think about it with a grooming gang scandal, one guy, he would get one girl or one victim, and he's able to, on a whim, call up 30 or 40 more PDF files to come along and commit the worst crime you could think of. That is how fucked up their culture is, because they have on speed dial their cousins and brothers and whoever else, all of who are willing to commit the worst type of crime, the worst type of violence on the most vulnerable people in society. And yeah, that tells you this is the type of community they are, and they can never ever be integrated in. Of course, this woman had more to share about exactly what she's also seeing. Have a listen.
What is going on in this fucked up world at the minute? I'm literally at the park with my daughter on our own, right? The park is so quiet, but it's a lovely day. Let's go to the park. I'm literally just stood here and there's like loads of entrances into this park. A man on a bike's just come up with like some weird goggles on, and he stood there for about 2 minutes just staring. Do you know how uncomfortable that makes a single woman with a child feel? Like, whether you're single or not, like any person out on their own with a child, even without a child, like, stop making this normal. I want to go home now. We've had such a nice morning, and I'm thinking, oh my god, like, I'm so paranoid now, looking around thinking, is he going to come in on the other gate? I'm looking in my bag to like what I can hold in case anyone approaches me, like, to protect me. I'm a little girl. Like, I would not hesitate to get my car keys out, and you know what, if anyone ever attempted to come near me or my daughter, like, I would not actually give a fuck. But can we just stop? Can these weird fucking people actually just fuck off and let us enjoy life? Like, you can't even go to a fucking park. What is actually going on? Like, the world is just on its arse.
Well, lady, remember this. Remember this experience when you need to vote next. Because there are some people who find that to be acceptable. There are some people who find you to be an acceptable collateral damage, essentially. And there are people who are trying to change that. So choose wisely, because this is the consequence. The working class, the average man and woman and child are the ones who have to bear the brunt, who have to bear the cost of, I guess, suicidal empathy, of bringing all these men in. And also, my advice would be, now I can obviously get my Rottweiler who's walking around here, he's just laid down. But my advice would be, get a dog. These men hate dogs, and it is unlikely they are going to approach you, especially if you have got a 60 kilo, what is that in pounds for my American viewers, 120 pound dog with you, especially a black dog. They hate them. That is my piece of advice for you. Now, of course, if it's not just harassing women in places like Paris, in Berlin, it seems like they are even demanding that women cover up and wear the hijab. We're talking about non-Muslim women, by the way. These men are harassing them because this is a type of soft colonization we're talking about. If they harass women enough, if they make them fearful enough, they aren't going to walk around on the streets anymore. They are all going to either stay home, or all these European women, or even non-Muslim women, they're all going to move out of these neighborhoods, and that neighborhood, guess what happens to it? It becomes an Islamic enclave, a shithole. Just have a look.
Finding a good husband, you walk porn on the street, you seek our generation.
Can you leave first,
Yes,
please?
I can talk, I free speech, not of heart, fuck off. I talk in the name of God. Yes, I'm sure. I love woman, I love
Name of God.
Yeah, I'm sure.
That's what they always say. You are PORN on the street. That is what he's saying to this woman. He thinks any woman who is not essentially living inside a bin bag, a black bin bag, is equal to, let's just call it corn on the street. This is the type of mentality that I was talking to you about. And look at these barbarians, these almost certainly these homosexual Muslim men, so far in the closet. Let's have a listen to what they had to say, because they talk about some real gay shit.
If your wife is coming out in front of people, showing herself, embarrassing herself, being all hysterical and laughing and all of this in front of people that are just, maybe they're laughing at her, maybe some people are perverted, they're just lusted by her or something like that, they're in love with her or something
I actually
like
know a guy who, one hijabi YouTuber, he actually masturbated over her.
that.
It's disgusting. I'm saying, know that your wives are putting themselves out like that in that way, and you've got guys that are perving over them.
See, Imran gets these emails, I can't deal with those kind of emails, that's nasty, man. Imran gets them kind of stuff. How do you deal with that, man? But honestly, look, if you as a husband, you know that this is happening, and you let them, it's going to be a bit harsh, and you let your wife do that, and the Prophet ﷺ said that the youth will not enter into Jannah. I say, if you're not the youth, I don't know what the youth is, honestly. If this person not the youth, then what? And the youth is a person who doesn't have any jealousy to their female relatives.
Yeah.
If this person's not the youth,
He lets his wife go out how she dress, lets man look at
and
her.
the punishment for that is that they won't enter the Jannah, nor will they even smell the smell of Jannah. And the Prophet ﷺ said in a hadith which you mentioned before, in the hadith of Sahih Bukhari, of Sa'ad bin Mu'adh, right? Sa'ad bin Mu'adh, that he said that Sa'ad bin Mu'adh, when he said that if I saw someone with my wife, I would kill him. The Prophet ﷺ laughed. They're not saying that you're allowed to kill him, but he laughed. They're saying, "Ta'ajabuna min ghayrati Sa'ad." You're shocked about you're amazed about the ghayra, the jealousy, protective jealousy of Sa'ad. And in praising this type of jealousy, he said, فَوَاللَّهِ لَأَنَا أَغْيَرُ مِنْ سَعَدٍ. I have more ghayra, this protective jealousy, than Sa'ad. So it's a praise, because the Prophet ﷺ had it. And he said, وَوَاللَّهِ لَاللَّهُ أَغْيَرُ مِنِّي. Allah has more ghayra than me. So it's a praiseworthy attribute.
It doesn't mean you can kill someone.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can
but
kill
the point
someone.
is that feeling of like, what, this guy's like, he's watching my wife.
It's a praiseworthy thing. You know, in some countries, just speaking about someone else's sister, it's not something they're just speaking about it, like saying, "How's your sister?" That's something you can't do.
Yeah, it's like in my culture, I'm not gonna lie, yeah. Like it's a bit weird, and people are like, oh, "How's your wife?" Like, bro, and the guy never seen my wife. He might never see your wife, but just he's being nice. Bro, don't.
This is what they think about women. You can't even ask your mate, "Hey, how's your wife going?" Just a simple question. How are the wife and kids? The most simple question, the most normal question in the world, and yet to them it is offensive. And this other neurosurgeon here, he's saying, hey, in the Prophet's time, this guy tried to kill someone else for looking at his wife. This is the low impulse, low IQ behavior that they believe is real great, real supreme, and much better than what they live under in Western cities. Because I'm assuming that, yeah, I think these people are actually living in the UK. So as you can see, these are the neurosurgeons and astronauts who live in the UK now. It is the country that essentially invented the computer and so much more. And this is what it produces these days. Bearded cavemen, closeted homosexuals who talk absolute shit about women, see women as second-class citizens and even lesser than that, and now are talking about how offensive it is to even have them on camera doing the exact same thing that these low IQ cavemen are doing. This is where we're at now. And hopefully, you know what? All these women, they are going to be much safer if these 3 low IQ musketeers, if they are deported, Britain will already be much safer. And on that note, guys, that's all I had. If you enjoyed that video, please give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, thank you very much for watching. Enjoy the song that's coming up, and I'll see you next time.
In the neon haze of a broken dawn, steel towers hum, but the wild runs on.